The views expressed on this program are those of the producers and individuals appearing on this program and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Sun Prairie Media Center staff, its video service providers, or the staff and elected officials of the City of Sun Prairie.
Hello and welcome to Real Reviews. I am Jamison Rabbit, and once again, I am joined by my beautiful guest host, Sarah Rabbit.
Good morning.
Good morning. And we are live on location this week. We are on our family vacation, but that does not stop us from bringing you a new show. So we are filming from the beautiful shores of the Red Cedar Lake here in northern Wisconsin. And we're here to talk about some movies. And I'm going to go ahead and get us started this week with our streaming spotlight, the film that we found on Netflix called Gunpowder Milkshake. It's a film that stars Karen Gillan as a girl named Sam. We first meet Sam as a young girl. She watches her mother, her mother, played by Lena Headey, is an assassin. And we watch as her mother leaves her as a child, and Sam is left kind of to wander around. We cut to 15 years later, and we see that Sam has grown up to become a notorious assassin of her own. She is working for a powerful group called The Firm, one of the members of which is Paul Giamatti, who's kind of her direct contact with The Firm, who puts her out on jobs to do the dirty deeds. And she gets tangled up in a hit gone bad when she accidentally kills the wrong person's son, as often happens. And this leads to her being on the run. She ends up tracking down her mom's old friends, her mom's old cohorts, who are three ladies who work in a library, and the library serves as a front for everything else that they do. Her friends are played by Carla Gugino, Michelle Yeoh, and Angela Bassett, and these are the ladies who kind of served as her aunties growing up. Anyways, she turns to them for some help and for some ammunition, and there's also a young girl that's involved in this plot, a girl named Emily, played by Chloe Coleman, who we saw recently in My Spy with Dave Bautista, and she's been taken hostage by this group and being held for ransom. And so Sam takes it upon herself to rescue and help this young girl, Emily. And there's some great moments in here where she has Emily kind of helping her, but not doing anything that would damage her. So she tells her to close her eyes when bad things are happening. And she teaches young Emily how to drive a car, because at one point, there's a lot of stuff going on here, but at one point Sam gets injected with a drug in her arms that completely numbs her arms. She can't use them to fight these bad guys, so she has to use this little girl to do it, but she doesn't want to traumatize this little girl, keep her innocence. So it's kind of interesting how she does that. Like a lot of these movies, you've seen the John Wicks, you've seen a lot of these types of films where it's just wave after wave of kind of faceless bad guys coming at her, and it's a lot of your typical stuff as far as that goes. Eventually, she reunites with her mom. We have a great a moment of reconciliation amidst the heat of battle, and one of the things that I enjoy about this film is there's a lot of really cool stylistic choices. There's cool locales. Like at one point, there's a big fight in a bowling alley, all lit up with neon. You have the cool library where you come in and you have to ask in code, like, oh, I want a Dante's Inferno, and then inside every book is a different weapon. It's kind of fun. You also have at one point, I don't know why, there's a group of bad guys, a group of fellow assassins that are sent out to kill her, that are all in universal monster masks. It's like the Monster Squad with machine guns. Unexplained. But it feels very familiar to a lot of films we've seen. It feels very familiar to John Wick, or recently there was the Hotel Artemis. A lot of these where it's like, all of these people within this world are very familiar to each other. There's a lot of really aesthetically cool looking things, a lot of neon, a lot of interesting choices. And this movie feels like it kind of walks the same path as all of those. It feels like it's fun while you're watching it, and it's really cool to watch while you're watching it. Ultimately, like a Gunpowder Milkshake, it's kind of low on empty calories. But I do like Karen Gillan. I think Karen Gillan is really cool. I think she has her her bona fides as an action star. I mean, she was the action part of the Jumanji movies, right? She's also played Nebula in the Guardians of the Galaxy universe. A lot of action there. So I really liked her in this. And I think Chloe Coleman, the little girl in this, is really cool. She continues to be this young actress that I'm watching because she does some interesting things in here. And so this movie will look very familiar to you. I think it's high on style, really light on plot, but it's still enjoyable enough. And so ultimately I end up giving Gunpowder Milkshake 3 out of 5 stars. Beautiful wife Sarah here did not get a chance to see it because we're on vacation.
I did try. I really did try. I got about a half hour in. My plan on how I was going to watch it kind of went south, and I just didn't have the
That's
time
all
to
right.
finish it.
We're
so
enjoying vacation.
we are enjoying.
So let's move on next, ma'am, to a movie that you did see for our On the Marquee segment, where we watched the new Space Jam movie, Space Jam: A New Legacy, from director Malcolm D. Lee. This film stars LeBron James, whereas the first one was the Michael Jordan with the Looney Tunes. This is LeBron James, and this movie opens with LeBron is a dad who's kind of tone deaf to his kids. He's only concerned with basketball and only concerned with how good they are at basketball and how serious they take basketball. His one young son, Dom, is more interested in gaming and creating in that way as opposed to playing basketball. Enter in this rogue agent from inside a computer server named LG Rhythm. Oh, I love the puns. This LG Rhythm is played by Don Cheadle. And he rises to power by kind of leeching onto Dom. Dom has created this really cool game that has a glitch in it, though, and it causes a problem. And Al kind of starts whispering in young Dom's ear about how his dad doesn't understand him, but I understand you, and I would never push you to do that, and I think you're great, and kind of starts to play up on animosity that he himself kind of fosters, and kind of starts to turn Dom against LeBron. But it feels like a lot of this movie, I was reminding myself, like, the Looney Tunes are supposed to be in this too, right?
Right.
It's a long ways until we actually get Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
And then when we do, there's also drama in the Toon universe, because when LeBron is forced to go and track down a team, and he goes to the Toon universe, and come to find out Bugs Bunny's the only one living there. Everyone else is skipped town.
Well,
remember why?
yeah, because what's his name? LG Rhythm.
LG Rhythm.
Kind of conned them into leaving. They kind of said life is better over here.
That's right.
Yeah, and so Bugs has to figure out a way to get them to come back to him.
You got to go out and go recruiting and
Yeah.
try and track down the Toons, and it all comes down to, you guessed it, a basketball game at the end.
Shocker.
Played inside the universe of Dom's basketball game that he created, which is unlike regular basketball that LeBron's used to.
And LeBron was a cartoon for part of this movie,
That's-
unlike Jordan. Jordan was
Jordan
human.
was a human inside the cartoon universe.
Yeah.
But when they went into the cartoon universe,
LeBron was a cartoon.
and what'd you think about that?
It was weird. I mean, it
Yeah.
was different. I mean, I kind of like that it was a little different from the other one, but it was like, but then when he played basketball, he was back to being human.
Well, because then when they came back to that universe, not only did he become human, but then they made the Looney Tunes characters like these 3D,
Well, yeah, because-
lifelike Looney Tunes.
Yeah, because they were Dom's game, so they
Yeah.
had to be.
That always creeps me out.
Yeah.
When you take the cartoon and make it a kind of a real thing. But
Yeah.
so yeah, LeBron's out there. He's put in a scenario where he has to play against this crazy game, and he's got to do it to save his son and save the Looney Tunes. Big stakes here.
Yep.
It's almost like an over the top scenario. I got to save my son by playing a basketball game against Don Cheadle. And of course, Al the AI cheats. He recruits some super-powered versions of some star players. We get a ton of different people. We got like Sue Bird, Damian Lillard, Diana Taurasi. Who else? There was a ton of different characters in here that he brought in.
But they were Dom's characters.
They were right. They all had like crazy powers and
Yeah.
such. And that was fine. You also brought in, you have some commentators, Ernie Johnson from TNT, and then they pair him up with Lil Rel Howery, who I always enjoy for no reason. I thought, I was like, you couldn't get Charles Barkley in here?
Yeah, right.
I think Charles has a loyalty to Jordan. You know, they're best friends supposedly, and I think he's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this Space Jam 2. But so you get these, you kind of get this basketball game that takes up the final half hour of the movie. But I'm curious, like, ultimately, how did this work for you? Like, we watched the original Space Jam before this. I mean, first off, your thoughts on the original Space Jam?
Well, I mean, the original Space Jam comes out at, the height of Jordan's career. And, I was a basketball player in high school, so Jordan was the man. And, liked it back then. I mean, it's a fun kids basketball movie. I watched it with Tirza this time around.
Yes.
And, it's good. It's a good movie. It's fun. This is not the same. It was kind of felt forced. Like, okay, we did this with Jordan. Now we LeBron's huge. We got to kind of do this generation's Space Jam movie, and it kind of felt forced.
Yeah, it was interesting. From what I was reading, they've been trying to remake this for a while, and it wasn't always necessarily basketball related. At one point, they wanted Tony Hawk to do it and do a Tony Hawk version when, like, Pro Skater was huge.
I kind of would have enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think that the direct comparison, like, especially for LeBron, who always says he poo-poos the direct comparisons between he and Jordan, this feels like, well, I'm coming right into your other space.
Right.
Like, I'm just waiting for him to go play baseball now to try and leech onto
go
that.
Full circle, Jordan.
Yeah. And, like, it's weird because I think that LeBron, I've seen him in things like, he hosted on Saturday Night Live, and he was in a couple of movies like Trainwreck. I thought he was funny, and he had some comedic chops and very small moments, but in this, he just didn't feel natural to me.
No.
Not that Jordan necessarily did either, but he just didn't feel natural to me in this one. But I think the bigger sin is that Don Cheadle should be way better than this movie.
Yeah.
This should have been, I don't know anyone, but Don Cheadle just...
It was like he lost a bet. Like he lost a bet and had to do this movie.
Yeah. I think that's the way a lot of it felt to me. It was like a lot of people working on this movie lost a bet because it felt like there was no one was concerned with any kind of plot or storytelling. And I know it's a Space Jam movie, but it felt like it was just throw more characters out there and more visuals, because at several points when they're out trying to find the tunes, we're just throwing every WB character, like, oh, here's the Justice League, and here's these people, and remember
when like the crowd came, it was like, oh, there's the Flintstones.
Right. And it was it felt like a big commercial for WB. Like, remember all the things we have? We have a bunch of really cool characters besides this. And so it felt cheap to me in that way, and the way they added all that in. And also, I think that the best part about the first one is the combination of the Jordan and the Looney Tunes universe. And this one felt to me like the Looney Tunes were very far in the background.
Yeah. Like this was about LeBron and his kid. Where Jordan was trying to save the Looney Tunes. Like, they recruited him to help them save their universe.
Gotta beat those monstars.
And then Bill Murray comes in at the end and saves the day.
Like he always does.
And it was
Bill Murray always steps in to save the day.
Right? And Jordan kind of shared the spotlight with all of the characters of the movie, which I don't feel like LeBron did. Like, it was him and the movie was about him and his kid.
It was, and I can understand. Oh, the shores are getting choppy behind us, and I can understand that. I mean, I've heard him talking about how all of these, the people who represented his family members obviously weren't his real family, but they were representative of the ages and kind of their attitudes and such. And so he wanted to have something that represented his kids. Here goes your water.
Yeah,
and
it's all good.
I just felt like the movie was underwhelming, and I think that the story was really dumb.
Yeah.
Even for a Space Jam movie, I was left really wanting. It was it's unfortunate, but ultimately, I'm curious what you gave Space Jam: A New Legacy. Woo! 1 star.
I would not watch it again.
Yeah, I
wouldn't.
I agree. Like I have a soft spot for the original, and
I do too. But that's what makes it even more disappointing.
Yeah, I think it's all full of glitz, but there's nothing below the surface, and I end up giving it 1 star as well. Like, I don't recommend it. It's playing in theaters and on HBO Max right now, but I would not be in a hurry to go check it out. There's much better films to go spend your time and money on, or go sit by a lake and just enjoy that. But all right, let's take some time to go for our movie throwback, man. Every week we take a look back at a film, and you chose a film for this week. What did you pick?
Love and Basketball.
Talk about Love and Basketball.
So we have Omar Epps and Sanaa Lathan, our kids that grew up together, kind of have a love-hate relationship. They're kind of best friends and worst enemies. They are both just obsessed with basketball, both extremely good players. And the movie's kind of broken down into 4 quarters, where they start off as kids when they meet.
It is, isn't it?
It is. And where they meet as kids, and she balls like a boy, and Quincy, Omar Epps' character, kind of can't get over that she's a really good basketball player. And then, quarter 2 goes to them in high school and trying to get recruited by their colleges. Sanaa Lathan's character, Monica, has to really fight and grapple and kind of, push herself, where Quincy has this natural talent, and they both end up going to the same college, get recruited for the same college. So quarter 3 is them in college with their, kind of romance that bloomed towards high school, like where they're, I guess I kind of skipped. They were best friends. You kind of see that they kind of get on each other's nerves, but in the end, they truly are best friends and end up falling for each other and go to college together. And Quincy kind of has a struggling relationship with his dad, who is a professional basketball player, turned like a businessman who is not a good husband, we'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And it kind of puts
played by the great Dennis Haysbert. I hate seeing him play a bad guy.
I know. That's hard.
Love him. I know,
I do too. And that puts a strain on their relationship. And they ultimately break up, and quarter 4 brings them into their adulthood. Quincy decides to skip college and go pro, and Monica goes and plays in Europe and is a star basketball player over in Europe, and eventually they find their way back.
Oh, it's a sweet story.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I'm a sucker for basketball movies. My favorite sport, favorite thing, pastime. Our Bucks won this week. Got to throw that out there. Even on vacation, I did not.
Our Bucks.
The Bucks won.
There you go.
My Bucks won. Even on vacation, we all got together, watched the 6th game.
Yeah.
But I enjoy this. Back in the day, not gonna lie, I had a thing for Omar Epps. Saw Higher Learning quite a few times.
Thus, you ended up with me.
Yeah, well.
The Omar Epps of podcast.
Right. My friend Heather and I saw Major League 2 in the theater at least 5 times.
You were the ones.
Not because it was a good movie.
You like the replacement.
The Willie Mays Hayes.
You're like, they finally got rid of that bum Wesley Snipes. They brought in a B-level replacement. Here's the thing. Omar Epps is like 5'9", and they make him out to be like he's Michael Jordan in some of these shots, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And I do like Omar Epps. I like both of these.
Oh yeah, they're great actors, and they had a great chemistry. Like I really liked.
It's just I root against Quincy in this movie every time I watch it, because he's got a huge ego, massive ego, and it's a very fragile ego.
Yes.
Both of them have real fragile egos, but he's the real prideful guy who can't accept that a girl might be better at something that he loves to do himself, and so he has to really kind of take her down a notch at all times. But there's always something in the background, so he's always also trying to keep her on the back burner for when he does want her around.
Yeah.
And it's just a horrible way to treat somebody.
It is.
To like, you're not good enough for me, I'm better than you, but wait, don't leave, I don't want you with anyone else, because I might want you back. And it's just a horrible way to treat people. And it feels also like, every time I watch it, like, he's not willing to work at things. Like, he has natural ability.
Yeah.
But he's not really willing to work at it. He won't work at it in relationships until it's almost too late.
Yeah.
We see him get injured. It doesn't seem like he's really willing to work at rehab, because we see he kind of just calls it quits after that injury.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, I mean, he does. He's going through his physical therapy and everything, but does he make it back to the pros?
I don't think so,
No.
because the next thing you see is him rooting on the sidelines for her.
Yep.
One of the things that I always love, though, is when she is playing overseas. She's on the team. I believe it's when she's overseas, right? Her coach, who's got that crazy mullet, with the blonde mullet. She's amazing. That lady's the worst actress I've ever seen.
No, that's her college
Was
coach.
that her college coach?
That's her
Yeah,
college
you're right,
coach.
because then she reunites with the other star player.
Yeah.
Her college coach.
Yeah.
With that amazing mullet.
Yeah.
And horrible acting ability. Stands out every time in this movie. But what really intrigued me, though, was that Sanaa Lathan had never played basketball before they cast her in the movie.
Yeah, she had a coach training. I was actually reading about it. It was between her and another girl, and they gave Sanaa Lathan basketball lessons and gave the other girl acting lessons, and kind of went with see who could pull off the other better. And
Yeah.
Sanaa Lathan, I mean, I thought she was a ball
And
player.
she's gone on to a really nice career.
Yeah,
I really
she
enjoy
has.
her in this. She's great, and I really love. There's a mother-daughter scene with her and Elfrey Woodard, kind of towards the end, where kind of this animosity bubbles to the surface, and Elfrey Woodard is great at these like emotional moments. She's got a Viola Davis vibe to her, and
Yeah.
I love these emotional moments where she kind of blows up and tells her, "Is that what you really think of me?" Like I like that moment. You know, it's a basketball love story.
Yeah,
kind of
it
told in
is.
an unexpected way. So there's a lot of basketball movies. You and I love sports movies.
Yeah, we do.
We've talked about it in the past, and we love sports films. Like, is this one of your favorite basketball movies? Are there other basketball movies that you really enjoy? Like, if I said, give me 4 or 5 basketball movies that you love.
Yeah, I mean, this is up there. I mean, this would be
Is
a
it?
top 5. This would be a top 5 basketball movie for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and I think part of it is it holds some sentimental value to it, and but yeah, I mean, like, you want some more basketball?
Yeah, tell me
movies?
some more basketball movies you like.
So, you know, back in my high school days, Hoop Dreams was big. We all sat as a team and watched Hoop Dreams together, and
Yeah,
I enjoy
Classic.
that. Hoosiers, classic. You know,
Alright.
like a
I did
underdog.
not pick you as a Hoosiers gal.
Yeah, it's an underdog basketball movie.
All right.
I really enjoy it. Basketball Diaries, which doesn't have a lot of basketball in it, but it's got basketball in the title.
It's in the title.
It's in the title, and it's got Leo in it, so you know, good. White Men Can't Jump.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. That's just a fun
Classic.
fun basketball movie. But my ultimate movie, He Got Game.
He Got Game is the best.
Best basketball movie out there.
I agree
And
with
it
you.
has Ray Allen.
I agree with you. I think yeah, Jesus Shuttlesworth is great. You talk about
Phenomenal.
taking an athlete and teaching him to act, or taking an actor and teaching him to play. They taught Ray Allen how to be believable.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's never really returned to that space.
No,
'Cause
he
I
was
thought
phenomenal.
He was really good in there. That's a great one.
Yeah.
I do love White Men Can't Jump, even if Wesley Snipes is also like 5'6" and trying to dunk on everybody. That's ridiculous.
No.
Much like his replacement Omar Epps. Neither one of them
Just
were believable.
not
basketball
believable basketball players.
players. One that I really enjoy, though, that I rewatched recently, Above the Rim.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right? Some Tupac in there.
That's
like,
a good one.
I really enjoyed that one.
I mean, I was, you know, that's one I haven't watched since it came out,
Yeah,
and I don't
yeah.
know why, because it's so
I had
good.
a hard time tracking it down. I actually found it finally on a streaming service recently and rewatched it. And there was a lot of the movie I didn't remember, but it's got a lot of basketball.
Yeah,
in it.
it's got a lot of good actors.
really good stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Really good cast.
I like that a lot. I'm surprised though. There's a couple I was expecting you to have on your list. I know you love Sunset Park. What time is it?
I love Sunset Park because it's so cheesy.
It's
It's,
really
like a
bad.
guilty pleasure basketball movie. Because real Perlman as a high school basketball coach, just, you know,
Right.
that says it right there.
But then I expected on your list to be a movie that I know that you have watched over and over and over again. I don't know. Coach Carter,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah, I do like that.
I know you
that's
do.
Good.
I know it's one of your favorite sports
It
films.
is.
Yeah,
It is.
That's the Samuel L. Jackson as the tough coach, right? The coach who cares.
The coach who cares gets his team shaped up and stop.
I think I've
Stop
only
at
watched
just
that movie one time.
That is one of my favorites. You're right.
Yeah.
That should have made my list.
Yeah, good basketball movies.
Really good.
Not
yeah.
bad, not bad. All right, we have a few minutes here to still chat, but I'm going to go ahead and take a look ahead at what we have coming soon at the end of this month, weekend of July 30th. We have 3 films that'll be coming out. The first one is the fun Disney film of the summer. You know it's a fun Disney film because it stars Wayne "The Rock" Johnson. It is Jungle Cruise, where they are trying to build another franchise, it seems, based loosely off another one of their rides, much like they did with the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. This stars The Rock and Emily Blunt. And I want this to be because just of some of the looks and how they have The Rock dressed, it feels like they're trying to emulate the African Queen in a bit, or at least set it in that period.
Right.
And I like that a lot. I would be down with that. One of the better movies ever. Also coming out that weekend, we have Stillwater, which stars Matt Damon, and he stars as a father who has to go overseas to try and save the life of his daughter, who's being accused of a murder that she claims she didn't commit. It's loosely based on the Amanda Knox story, if you know anything about that.
Yeah.
About the young American girl who was put on trial for murder overseas, and the drama that surrounded that. So it's loosely based on that, and it's getting all kinds of mixed reviews. So I'm intrigued by that. And then the movie that I'm really looking forward to. This is a weekend that a lot of movies I'm looking forward to, but the new A24 film called The Green Knight. This trailer is all over the place, and I am all in on it. It stars Dev Patel. It's a fantasy retelling of the medieval story of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. Again, stars Dev Patel, Alicia Vikander, Joel Edgerton. Looks really interesting. It's A24. They don't make bad movies, and I'm really intrigued by that. So those are all the films that will be coming to your movie theaters the weekend of July 30th. Before we go any further, though, we want to thank our sponsor who makes this all possible. Marcus Theaters, The Palace in Sun Prairie. I want to thank you for sponsoring this program and putting all these movies on that we could watch. We do appreciate it, and we always encourage you to go sit in a beautiful dream lounger, maybe grab yourself a treat, and sit back and enjoy one of these movies. Sarah loves dream loungers. She struggles to stay awake in them, though.
Sometimes, yeah.
They're very
They're
comfy.
very, very comfortable, especially if I bring a blanket and I'm all cozy.
Yeah, a nice hot summer day, you go into a nice cool dream lounger and kick back and relax. Next week is going to be a lot of fun. I'm continuing a streak of bringing family members in to be my guest hosts. Next week, I'm going to be joined once again by my son, Logan, and he is coming in specifically to review these movies because he's very excited about them.
He loves A24 movies.
Well, he loves everything.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got something. But he and I are actually going to be talking about M. Night Shyamalan's Old, his new film, which has me intrigued. Co-stars Thomasin McKenzie, who is the daughter in Leave No Trace, a movie that we've been talking about lately. Love that movie. We'll also be talking about the new spin-off of the G.I. Joe franchise, Snake Eyes. We're talking about that. And we also have a streaming film called Joe Bell. I believe that is a film that stars Mark Wahlberg as a regular schlub, as he is. And then we'll have a fun throwback. I'm not sure what it is, but it's going to be exciting, and that's all going to be happening next week. Ma'am,
yes.
Thank you for joining me
Of
again.
course.
It's always a pleasure
Thank
to have
you
you
for having
on.
me.
I love it. And if we're always looking for people to come join me, it can't always be family members as much as I enjoy it. And so if you are watching this and you've ever thought about doing reviews and joining the show, reach out to me and find us on social media, Real Reviews TV, at Real Reviews TV on Instagram. Reach out and say, hey, maybe I want to sit and give my well-crafted opinions on these movies. I'm always interested in having a new face join me. Because I get so lonely sometimes since Mike left. But once again, you can find us on Facebook and on Instagram. Real Reviews TV, at Real Reviews TV. So next week, I will be joined by Logan. But until that time, I'm Jamison.
I'm Sarah.
Thanks for watching.